Hello, it's good to be with you again today. I want to talk about recovering lost time. I've had people talk to me about how do I recover the years that I have lost. I must say that's a very emotional subject for me because I have lost a lot of time myself. So, when we talk about recovering time, I have to be very honest with you. The first thing is one, you cannot. Time that's gone is gone. And what you need to do now is to look at a way you can live your life in an accelerator mode where you can catch up. But to say you're going to go back and retrieve lost time, I'm sorry, my friend. That's done. That's gone. Now, in your 20s, your 30s, maybe even your 40s, you may not worry about time. The truth is, when we are that young, we think there's always time to correct, there's always time to do stuff. But as you get into your 40s, 50s, and 60s, you realize what has always been true, that time is the most valuable resource in life. So once we get that off, the fact that you cannot recover lost time, but what really matters now is you start focusing on placing a deeper awareness on how to recover your time. And that can only be achieved through accepting agency for your life. You know, where you say, I am responsible for my life. I am responsible for everything that's ever happened to me, good or bad. Now, the minute you accept agency for your life, you've started the journey back to making the most of what you have left. For our time here is limited anyway, isn't it? So if you accept agency for your life, and if you accept responsibility for your life, a few things are going to become pretty clear that you need to do to seemingly catch up, because you can never recover, but you can catch up and possibly do a lot more than you might have wanted to, or might have if you had just accepted the loss. The first thing you do realize is now you are in an accelerated mode. You need to do much more, quicker, better, less errors, move with the right people, and get clarity about what you want to do with your life. That's important. And you realize that the first thing you need to do is to forgive yourself. I personally lost maybe 10 years of my life to absolutely nothing. It was totally reversible. But I got sentimental and I decided to do things my way. And looking back, I wish I had pulled the plug a long time ago. But the truth is, here I am. So what do you do when you find that you have time that's been burnt, spent, that's useless, cannot be recovered? The first thing, my friend, is to forgive yourself. Realize that you never really failed because you're still here. What you did was you learned. You learned how not to do things. You learned about people not to be associated with. You learned about what you believe. You learned about what to avoid. Powerful lesson if you now take that and move forward with your life. So forgive yourself and say, well, you paid a very expensive tuition, but here you are, ready to move on. Forgive the people that you think were responsible for that. You are responsible for your life. And the sooner you let them go, the sooner you can start on a clean slate to move forward. The next thing you realize is that you have a great appreciation for every day you wake up. You see, only the living can recover time. Only the living can accelerate progress. So you wake up every day with an appreciation for life. And you say to yourself, thank God for this new day. I'm going to make the most of it. And then the next thing after that is you understand the need for clarity for everything you're doing. Why am I doing this? What's the purpose for this? What's the best possible outcome for this? What would happen if I didn't do this? And once you have that kind of clarity, you wake up every morning and you fire on all cylinders. Remember, my friend, you can't recover lost time, but you can pack this time with so much value that 10, 15, 20 years from now, you will do better than those who didn't lose any time at all. And so set goals for your life, 5 years, 10 years, 15-year goals. We talk about 1-year goals most of the time. But if you are in this space where you need to make up for lost time, not recover, make up for lost time, you should be able to ask yourself, where do I want to be 5 years from now? And be clear about that and write that down. Where do I want to be 10 years from now? Or maybe even 15 years from now? Be clear. Cut out everything else. Focus on only what matters. Travel with only those who are going where you're going. And be the one who puts out the discipline on yourself every single day. It's not about anyone else. It's about you. Do you feel you made up for lost time? Do you feel you still achieved all that you wanted to with your life despite the delays and the losses and the learning? Do you realize that your best years are still ahead of you? Imagine how much you've learned in the past, how much more better you are to move forward and get all the things you want. So you can't